When I was around 20 or 21 years old, I was down at a Big Stuff conference that pastor took us to, and we were down there, and I was a leader at the time, and I really wasn't sure what I was doing with my life. I didn't really know where I was going. I was trying out college, but I think around that time I had got pretty close to just failing, which I ended up doing, is failing out of college because I was running away, and I just had no idea what was going on. And we were down at Big Stuff, and they had these big services down there, and right in the middle of one of these services, they started playing a song, and it was From the Inside Out, and the words in the song just started hitting me, and I was thinking, you know, this is a great song, it's a good song. And then God started saying, that's what I want from you. So I want to consume you from the inside out. And I want you to go, and I want you to look at all these kids in this room, 5,000 plus kids, and I want you to minister to every single kid in the world. I want you to go out, and I want you to pour your whole life into these kids, and I don't want you to hold back. And so when I kind of received this calling, I had no idea what to do. I didn't know where to go or who to talk to or anything, so I took a little time, and I stayed with myself, and I kept it inside. And finally, I was sitting on the front of the church one late night where me and Pastor were just sitting there talking, and they were about to start a district class, and he was telling me about it and what it all was about, and he said, why don't you just try it out? And now I'm here at this church. I'm a youth pastor. Me and my wife are here every Wednesday, every Sunday morning, every Sunday night, every single day we can be here. We are here, and we are working with passion, all because God has called us here, and God has called us to do something amazing and extraordinary. And he has blessed me by calling me. I don't believe I'm worthy to be called to do what I do and to work with the amazing students that I get to work with, but he has called me to something amazing and something greater, and that is how I received my call.
So I was 16 years old, and I was going to a teen camp, and I was going there pretty much to do two things, and that was to play basketball and talk to girls. And it was going to be a wonderful weekend because I was looking good going into that camp. But when I was there, probably the third night, the speaker, it's interesting how God does that. He sent a speaker who played college basketball, and that was the only thing I cared about at the time. And the speaker began to talk about how basketball didn't fulfill him and that he was looking for something deeper. And he finally shared that deeper thing was God. And I don't know what it was. I don't know if it was the service. I don't know if it was just a place I was in at the time, but something caught a hold of me. And for the first time, really, the whole camp, I began to listen and to think about what it was that they were saying. And I think that opened me up to God. And I remember seeing his face as much as you can see God's face, and feeling him with me, and immediately just a sense of unworthiness to encounter God. And then from that point, I just turned it all over to him. That night, I said, God, you're clearly more powerful than anything I've ever experienced before, and I'm going to go after you. I'm going to see what you want for me to do. From that point, the next day, they talked about surrendering it all and listening to the call of God. And I immediately knew in that moment, it was very clear as I stood up and I went to an altar and began to pray, that I heard God's voice saying, David, I want you to be a pastor. I want you to be a preacher and to share about me and to tell people about me, whether it's in a church setting, whether it's in your regular life. That's what I want you to do. And after encountering him the night before, I knew there was no way that I could ignore that. I had thought about being a basketball coach. I loved computers. I loved all those different things. And I'm not going to say there hasn't been times in my life where I've thought, well, maybe I can just serve God and do it by on the weekends or something like that, and then the rest of the time I can do what I want to do and be a basketball coach or those other things. But, and I heard a pastor say it once like this, if you can do anything else, do it. If you can be happy and do anything else in life, do it. But if you can't, then you know that you're called to be a pastor. And that's where I'm at, is I just know that God has placed a calling upon my life. And He's proven it. And it's basically up to me to listen and be obedient. But I'm just thankful that at a young age, at 16 years old, God revealed His plan for me in the future. I never knew how it was going to end up working out, but I never doubted for a minute on what He had called me to do.